All right, here we go. Sunday night. Got a new sweatshirt. Look at this, Craig.
Boy.
Craig said, I'm sick and tired. This was really a secret ploy for me to get Craig to give me a free t-shirt, a free pullover, a free thing. I was wearing my F45, my $15,000 F45 sweatshirt.
Putting in my face the whole time.
There's more people that like that have talked to me about that video when I said this was a $15,000 sweatshirt than almost anything. Everywhere I go, people's like, man, that was so funny. But it's true. 15,000 bucks, and that's what I got out of that. And an experience and a good experience. So it was a $15,000 lesson. But tonight it's Sunday night. We're going to come to you a little bit early tonight. On Sunday night, Craig and I get together and kind of powwow and talk about the week. And we typically tackle a big subject. And so I'm looking forward to you guys commenting tonight. We had another big week, Craig, here. Over 2,500 plus units sold. Flipped the switch this past week and went out to the marketplace. So I was over in North Carolina doing some presentations. Went really well with the EXP leadership group. We're going to be following up with them. And then I did an event with one of our clients, top clients, Brock Zevin, and Zavon. He packed out a whole place, and I was so impressed with the dude. And he's coming to one of our certified coaches. And here's just a little lesson for all the certified coaches and people out there. You really have two choices in life, man. You could sit back and complain about things, or you could just jump in and get involved. That's what the dude did, man. He said, I'm going to fill a place up. I'm going to bring coach in. We're working on me coming back and doing a full day in Charlotte with those people. So while
you're there, let me stop you while you're there real quick, Coach, because I want to bring this up. You and I obviously are, in the coaching business, and we help people, and some people just get it and some people don't, right? You speak on, many different things, but you have an actual school of speaking that you brought people into. And why is it like people like Rob Stein, Brock Zevin, and we also have Chad Free, right? These guys are just taking the initiative. There's like 3 right off the bat that I've seen that have just like literally taking the leader, the role, the education that you provided, and then just going out there. What separates those guys from like the rest of them?
Well, I have a basic philosophy. This is going to kind of tie into what we're going to talk about tonight, is why do some people capitalize and some people are undercapitalized, right? And why do some people get into action and learn and figure it out? And why do some people sit on the sidelines and kind of bitch about life and what's happening and why they got a leg down versus a leg up? I have a fundamental belief, and the belief is it is the learner's responsibility to extract maximum value from the teacher. Okay. My mentor was Dr. Stephen Covey. That's who I studied under for 8 years. Okay. Now listen to this. I only had one conversation with Covey that lasted 10 minutes. My whole life. Okay. I went to his headquarters to know where it was. And I went to his conferences and I read his books and I got certified, but the dude didn't, take me under his wing and teach me everything he knew. I took it upon myself to go get it and then to go do something with it. And so I think one of the reasons I see people that are undercapitalized is they spend a lot of time on, I don't know how to do something versus who, number one. And they're lacking this one important ingredient, which is just remarkable boldness, man, which is, as I get older, I get bolder. And a guy in Charlotte thought I said balder. And I said, no, as I get older, I get bolder. And, but a lot of people are undercapitalized because they sit on the sidelines and they don't ever take an action. And Brock's like, look, man, if you're coming to Charlotte, I'll put on an event. I think he pushed hard for 2 or 3 weeks to get people in the room. And I think that's important. Let me tell Natalie I'm doing a Zoom. Go ahead. What do you think about this?
Well, I think at the end of the day, people get blocked for a couple of different reasons, right? And, it looks like we're talking to everyone here. They get stuck by, I saw something and I forget who did it. I send myself notes all day long. Literally, I probably send myself 20 notes in emails or some form of fashion where I can come back to it. But they said if you were actually 30%, less astute, if you will, or less educated, you probably do better, because what happens is the more critical that you think about something, you get stuck in that paralysis by analysis. So I think a lot of us, and I can certainly say someone like myself, I overanalyze a lot of things. And that's why I said you and I together are really a good group, because you kind of take action. You're a quick start, where if you're looking at different profiles and different things of where my benefit come from, I'm analytical. I'll look at things many different times over. So, but I'm probably not the first one to jump through the window, right? Because it's, and I say that's not completely true, but I do get stuck in the weeds over analyzing. And I think that's really truly what a lot of people will do as well. And then they'll talk themselves right out of it.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I was holding this book today because I was getting ready for the book club on Wednesday. And man, this is a big bitch right here. I mean, it ain't easy to write a book this big, right? And I was looking at it in comparison to all my other books and how much bigger and thicker and more in depth it is. And listen, guys, I had remedial English. I finished 8th in my graduating class of 500 people. 508 people, I finished 8th, and I still had remedial English in college. And I've written 17 books. Okay. Now, what's the point there? The point is, I think what happens to a lot of people when I see highly talented yet undercapitalized, I'm almost starting to believe, because I was on the phone with my agent tonight who's in New York City, and I said, man, let's start talking about the next book deal right now. We're talking about a TV show. There's some interest from a couple different places on a TV show to do it. So we talk about storylines and what would be a good TV show. And then we got into books and when the right time is to go ahead and start negotiating for a new book. And he's like, it's right now. It's right now. We need to, I need a manuscript by the end of March for your next book, so I can go ahead and start negotiating. And I'm like, so we talk about, what is bold? Is screw your why the concept I need to go with? Is it this? You see, like now we're getting into what is it? But I see a lot of people, the older I get, the more I do this, the more I'm starting to say, look, the only thing separating big time people from other people is just remarkable boldness. Now, let me show you something. I got off the plane in Charlotte, North Carolina. A guy walked up to me. I was going to call you the other night and have this conversation with you, but I don't know, tired and it was late. And guy walks up to me and he said, man, I noticed you're working on the plane on some plans. Now, here's what's interesting. This is intriguing to me. I was working on the Greatness Factory plans and the different levels of the Greatness Factory. And if it was fully rented and it had all of the tenants in it, we rented the auditorium 50 times a year, and this 50 times, how much money it could actually generate. Well, on those plans, it doesn't say the Greatness Factory anywhere on those plans. Okay. All right. So it's this big thing that me and Tony Giarratani printed off. And I'm sitting there on the plane drawing it up. Well, a guy comes up to me and he says, man, do you work at that Greatness Factory? And I thought for a minute and I said, yeah. And then we kind of talked for a second. And I said, man, I founded the concept of the Greatness Factory. He's like, oh man. He said, that's so cool. He said, well, I am a regional manager for Industrious over like 6 states. And we're talking about you being one of our competitors, the Greatness Factory being one of our competitors at Industrious. Now, I looked up tonight, Industrious was valued at $600 million. They just put $200 million into Industrious in investors. And I'm sitting there thinking, we're already on the radar screen of Industrious before we've even got this place built. Now, you know what I started thinking? There is nothing separating us from being that big or bigger with the Greatness Factory, other than a couple things. One, the right people who know how to do it, remarkable boldness to go for it, and to get out of what a lot of people say, well, we don't have the money. Well, that's why you go raise the money. Okay. That's why. So when I had that conversation, I called, my wife, and I'm like, look, this could be as big or bigger than Industrious, right? It's already on the radar, people. We're not even built it yet. Just the concept of it being out is already out there. So here's the deal: remarkable boldness, the right people who know how to do something, right? Who know how to raise capital, know how to put it together, know how to scale something, and really just the belief that you can go do it. Because there's nothing that separates those people from us. Would you agree?
I agree. And I think it starts with many different factors, but it's all in your head, right? Like at the end of the day, someone who did something great had it in their belief that they were going to do this thing, and they just continued to go until they figured it out. We often don't know what the end looks like until we're there. We can visualize all we want, but a lot of things change in that journey. But it takes that person with, like you said, remarkable boldness or a vision of just like out of proportion from what normal reality is. Essentially, you're leveraging the whole time. You're leveraging belief and thought. You're not just leveraging time and money, right? You're leveraging all of it. And so, yeah, you need the right people, the right team, the right thought process to get to it.
And here's the deal. They're out there. Like I reached out to Rob Luna tonight, who's owned Fox Business every week. He's studying the markets. I said, man, I'm going to be in Newport this week. I'd love to have dinner with you. We're going to have dinner on Thursday night. Like, all right. And he's a guy that you say, okay, this guy has done it. He's taken a company public. He's raised capital. He's worked with some of the most high net worth individuals in the world. You know what I mean? He's a guy you trust. What I'm saying is these people are out there.
Yep.
They're out there. And but your boldness or lack of boldness. Now I get into this in the book because we're still pushing the book. We still want people to buy the book. It's just the second or third week of the book. It's not like we want people to quit buying it. In the book, I talk about the habits of the top 1% of performers. And that alone could be a good book, I think, for a lot of people. But out of the top 5 habits, I do believe that the remarkable boldness one is one. And that's why I'm saying you got to move from confidence to remarkable boldness. And this is really why when I see highly talented, yet undercapitalized, like I think a good book would be called You Got Potential. You know, it's like you could be really big in the world if you just knew how to get from A to B, right? So you got to start asking what's keeping a person from going from A to B. And a lot of times it's environment. Like when I go to Miami, I think about all the opportunity in Miami. When I was just in Charlotte, it's like when I go to these cities and I'm downtown and I'm staying downtown, I'm like, look at all this opportunity, man. It's everywhere. Like you can't even get away from it. Like there's money literally everywhere. Okay. And so I think sometimes we get conditioned to believe this is it. This is as good as it's going to get. I'm in a dogfight, can't figure out how to get out of this. And I
It's
think
the people that you surround yourself with. And that's why I think essentially is why you and I both believe that a coach is critical to someone's life, having the right mentorship, whether it's a coach or even a fellowship with friends, family, and just people of faith that can just provide you with like, you know what, you can. And there needs to be a good group of people that can tell you, look, you're seeing this wrong, or to be able to check you, but they should never extinguish your fire. They should only be able to check you on reality, on certain things, on, you know, so you need a good group of people that are egging you on, you know, trying to make you succeed and be more than you are today. But you also need a group of people to check you and make sure that you're in balance. So I would say, you know, one of the hardest things is, like you said, is to get the right environment around you. And a lot of times when people grow up without those resources, the right people, it's going to take them a lot longer. And so there's many arguments that we can come up with on the why. But at the end of the day, if somebody's to grow up with no resources at all and still make it, you know, then there obviously has to be something to be said about having to be, you know, you are capable with all you are. Maybe you're not as good as you could be, but you could be more, you know, so continue to just work on it and go find a mentor, go hard out there looking for someone who could bring you above where you're currently at, because someone's already done it and probably faster than you would do it alone. So why not save some time, make it a little bit easier on yourself, so therefore you can focus on the things that do matter.
And this is really, there's 2 things that came to my mind. One, we kind of grow up emulating people, and we have this mental block that says, well, I'll be good, but I'll never be that good. Right? Or I'll be this, but I'll never be that. I can do this, but I can't do that. And you guys will hear me. I talk about this in the book when I said, I'll be a good coach, but I'll never be a championship coach until I made a decision. I'll be a good speaker, but I'll never be one of the top speakers in the world. I'll be this, but I'll never be a best-selling author. I'll be this. See, and so these, you have to, and I don't know, it's hard for me to explain what has shifted in me, but it was really a decision I made in December that I said, man, I'm tired of emulating these people. Okay. I've studied under all these people. They're no better than me. I say that humbly. But now I'm tired of emulating them, and I'm going to become one of them. Okay. But I think that only comes after a long obedience in the same direction, where you've honed and refined your skill set, and you really are talented, and you're in the room. And I think this is where we got to get to. We've got to get, every person's got to get to quit looking at people going, oh, I could never do that. I'm never smart enough to do what they're doing. Okay. Or be at their level. And once you kind of break through to the other side, then it's like, all right, man.
What do you think it takes for someone to get that inner belief? You know, at the end of the day, do they have to actually a lot of reps?
Oh, I think I was reading this today in the book, is a lot of reps, feedback and calibration, right? A consistent persistence to just stay in the game long enough to learn and get better. That's really hard you can't shortcut it. You know, the people who try to shortcut it, you can tell they're not that good. They haven't paid the price. They don't really know. They hadn't had the reps. They don't know how to maneuver, right? Which is why you really got to be in the game. Like it took me as a coach getting beat it took me getting to 2 or 3 sub-states, which is a game right before state tournament, and getting beat to really even know how good you had to be to win it. It took me speaking at 10X to be able to say, okay, this is how good you got to be to be on big stages. Okay. So it's like, if you don't do it, you never know what you got to recalibrate. Then you go back, then you get better, then you make some moves and you keep going. And it's kind of the persistence and intensity of the prey drive piece that really, but you know, I spoke to a group here in Murfreesboro last week, and you were there with me. And, you know, I kind of get the feeling many times that local people think, well, you know, I could never be a big time person because I live in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is only 25 minutes from Nashville, by the way. Yeah. Or it's not New York City, and it's not Miami, and it's not LA. And, you know, I'm going to be in LA this week doing an event with Tim Story. And it's like a belief that people from small towns can't do anything big, but some people do. So this is really, that's why I was kind of saying to that audience that you saw me speak to at the mortgage event, it's like, hey man, just because we live in Murfreesboro doesn't mean the best person in the world could be from Murfreesboro.
That's right.
And whatever it is they do, right? And I believe that, but some people don't believe that. I think they become, you know, like I said, I was watching this show about Jesus, and you know, it's like people from Nazareth didn't think he could be anybody. Like his own family thought he was crazy, you know. So this is not a new thing, right? So what we're talking about tonight, guys, if you're chiming in as we do these talks on Sunday night, and it's really, why can't you make it through the other side? Why are you undercapitalized? Why do you see yourself as maybe a multimillionaire, but you can't seem to figure it out? Or you see yourself at the top of the level, but you can't seem to get there. And it really comes back to this, something that Kevin Elko said to me one day. And he said the greats develop a concept of themselves early in life and that cannot be broken by other people. Somewhere along their life, they make up their mind that they really are special.
You're leading me right into my point right now. I'm talking at Trio tomorrow. I know you are too. And we'll tell people what actually that is and what we do there. But like, you know, we're speaking to 2 groups right now. We're speaking to the people that have to help themselves, right? Have to understand that they have talent, maybe undercapitalized, and might have to get resourceful to figure out where they can get funds or in front of the right people in market. But we're also speaking to the parents, because you just said something, you know, that hopefully didn't go over your guys' head, but where you take an understanding of appreciation and where you should be putting time, energy, and effort when, you know, they're being spoken to, whether that's the educational system or the parents. And so we're talking about success school, right? Where, you know, you have the ability to speak into your children in such a way that can give them the beliefs that they can, or give them the beliefs that, you know, if they not, you know, just affirmations blindly, but, you know, really speaking into them and develop those habits. Like, you know, the success school, I know we haven't really knocked that thing out of the park yet. And I think it just comes down to getting the right words out, you know, making sure enough people know about it. But I mean, what you're saying right now and why people are in the way they are and stuck in their later years is because probably the way their parents raised them or the way someone educated them. And if you could take care of that now, or surround the kids, your youth, your people that you're growing up with the right positive influences and mentorship and coaching, where could they be? Right.
Well, you know, I'm reading all these books on psychology right now, because if I had to go back and, you know, one regret I have is that I got, as I got, not a regret, but I got my degrees in leadership and management. And, you know, one of my degrees, all I studied was Malcolm Baldrige award winners, which were great businesses. But, you know, I wish I would have got it in psychology. And I'm going back and reading all these psychology books. How does it work? What does psychology work? And almost every, you know, then it gets into all the phobias, all of the way people think, all of the things that they need a psychologist for. And it really all developed early in life, right? Almost all of it developed because something happened to them along the way. And that created these, you know, beliefs about them, whether, you know, no matter what it is. So it's really interesting. But somewhere along the way, I can't remember when it was, maybe when I was 15 or so, I just started thinking, man, I'm going to do big things. I'm starting to believe I can do big things. And I think it was because I went to leadership camps. This is why it's important. What Craig's talking about with this success school that we're doing for kids. There's no school in America that's teaching students the things we're teaching them. confidence, remarkable boldness, connection, resilience, even just seeing it. You got to understand, I went to a leadership academy when I was 15 years old. It changed my whole life because for 1 week, all they did was teach us leadership principles. And what happened is, and no pun intended here, but the switch was flipped in my life. And I came home and you know what I said? I told my mom, I want to be a leader. Like I didn't go thinking I was going to be a leader. I came home and I go, I'm going to be a friggin' leader in the world. Like that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm going to coach, and coaching is leadership. So I think if you're out there and you're watching this, just know there's more highly talented, undercapitalized people than almost anything. And they're people who should be playing on bigger stages. They should be playing at higher levels. They should be doing a lot of these things, but for some reason they're stuck. And it could be they don't know who you may not be willing to invest the money. Like it's like, I know I'm stuck, but I'm prideful and I want to invest the money to get unstuck, to go learn from somebody who knows how to do it. That's a big problem I see with a lot of people, let's be honest, is they just won't pony up the money to get in a room with people who freaking know how to do it. And
You think it's because I go to the gym, right? Or, I own the gym, Rockbox. That's where we met originally. And, do you think it's because they know they're going to fail, or they have the influences around them that are saying that they're going to fail, right? For example, you take a group of people and they're out eating at a restaurant. I always tell my clients when they're, on a health journey and you want to do something good, order first, because you're going to set the trend in that relationship, right? Order first, and maybe someone else says, oh, you're eating good, I'm going to eat good. And this might trickle down, right? But you surround yourself with that wrong crowd and it's going to bring you the wrong way. So, as we're talking about it, it really could have other effects,
I think there's a cost too. I'll take the gym, for example. Everybody wants to get in better shape, but there's a cost, there's a sacrifice. And people don't want to pay that sacrifice, whether it be the healthy eating or getting in the gym, or there's a cost to have something. You got to give something up to get something. I've given a lot of time. I've given a lot of energy. I've given a lot of late nights away from home, traveling around the world. I've given up a lot to have things, but I wouldn't trade that, right? I wouldn't trade that for anything. But not everybody's willing to do that. Some people say, look, this is my dream, but I'm not willing to sacrifice to reach that dream, right? And so, I hope, does it come down to habits? I think it comes down to some habits. I think it comes down to consistency. I think it comes down to a skill. I don't think a lot of people really have a skill that moves the needle. And I think that's what you got to develop if you want to really go pro here. So a couple things, guys, if you're out there and you haven't got the book, Flip the Switch yet, I want to encourage you. Okay. I really want to encourage you to get this book. It's my best book. It's out there. I'm still in a 8-week series, a book club every Wednesday at 12:30. Coaching program. If you've ever thought about being in a coaching program, check your pride and ego at the gate, man. If that's keeping you from getting into a program to let somebody help you play at a higher level. The other day I was probably coaching. I bet I was coaching some of the highest money earners in that room I was in the other day, right? And it would make logical sense to say, if he's coaching those two dudes and they're making the most money, why wouldn't I be coached by him? It really does baffle me that people don't think that way, but they don't. And so, I think you got to start drawing correlations. What's that dude doing?
What do you think of the fact that maybe when they see that, it's like somebody, remember we talked about, you brought in, the billionaire guy from Priceline.
Yeah.
And I said that, maybe people just can't dream that big, kind of like what you mentioned at the beginning of this. Maybe they see that, the two heads of the, the conference that you were in, or the talk, are your coach, that they're priced out and that they don't even believe that they could be in that room, or that they should be paying that price for coaching. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just that belief system that they really need to be working on.
And I don't think people really understand sometimes what a coach does. I don't think they understand why I'm doing good, right? I'm doing good. I'm making some money. I don't need any help. And I think that's not how the pros think. The pros think I'm doing good, but man, I'm looking for an edge. And who can give me that edge? And I think so, if you really have a desire to go to the next level, somebody needs to be coaching you, whether it be me or somebody else. All I've ever done for 31 years is coach people. I could show you success story after success story of people that we've helped get to a higher level financially, changing their life. They did the work, by the way. Okay. They did the work. So let's end this tonight with what you started with. Why are people highly talented, undercapitalized? they don't get in the rooms with the right people to learn how to do it. They don't have the remarkable boldness they need. They don't, there's just something that's holding them back.
They don't know what they don't know. And that might be just not being in the right room.
That's right. And when you're not in the right rooms with the right people who know how to do it, when we know better, we do better. That's what Maya Angelou said. And I 100% believe it. When we know better, we do better. But if we don't know better, we just keep doing what we've been doing, man. And we say we're doing good. And maybe we are doing good. So I'm not pushing you guys to do anything more, but the book Flip the Switch tries to create a tension in your life, especially chapter 2, because I was just doing it, where it's asking you, what's your beat? What's holding you back? Are your actions in alignment with what you're saying you want to do? Right? Because you tell me you want to do this, but you're doing this. And that's a big thing for a lot of people. Okay. So get the book, Flip the Switch. If you haven't got it, get in the 8 weeks with me. Every Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'll be breaking down the science behind activating the subconscious mind, getting clear on A to B. Okay. Thank you for all the people who are hanging out with us tonight. We're going to keep doing good work. We're going to keep inspiring people. We're going to keep going around the country. We're going to be we're going to be at Newport Beach, LA. I'm going to be doing Tim's Story Live in LA this Saturday. So, Shavonda, good to see you. Jenna. So come on out and see me, man, in LA. If you're out on the West Coast, come out and see us live. Tim's Story Live. That's a free event you can come to, guys. Okay. I'll be doing a lot of podcasts out there. So look forward to getting out to the West Coast, some of that warm California weather. I may not come back. I may just fly my family out there, right? But I may not be back once I go out to Cali. Okay, I'm not coming to Chicago anytime soon. I don't have anything booked, but maybe we need to. It's been a minute since I've been to Chicago, and I could see my good buddy Tim Grover up there. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Craig, good night tonight.
All right, brother.
Thanks for the sweater too. I like it.
Good on you.
See you guys.
It's comfy too.
Looks comfy. Yep. See you guys.